Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live. So we're going back to basics with this one this week. We are going to provide you with some Pixels updates as usual, and then answer all of your questions. So if you have any questions, make sure you are logged into a YouTube account and are posting in our YouTube live feed so that we can bring up the questions from there. As always, keep it farmer friendly, be kind to one another. And without further ado, let's bring up Luke.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Heidi. Yeah, no, super glad to be here today. Yesterday was so fun. Oh my gosh. If you guys missed it, we had a Valentine's Day event. We had 2 sessions of it. We had one at like 6 a.m. our time, one at 1 p.m. our time, to try to cover like both the time zones. The second one got a little bit crazy, but we saw a ton of engagement. And yeah, that was one of the most fun days I've had in Pixels. I don't know about you, Heidi.
That was a lot of fun. I woke up at like 5 a.m. to attend the early one, and that one was exactly how I thought it would turn out. It was a lot of fun, tons of people. We all had a great time. The second one got a little chaotic. The goose was trashed, but it was a blast. So fun. We love doing events like that, especially with all of you guys in game. So hopefully we can continue to do stuff like that in the future.
Yeah, I think we want to make something like that a regular thing where we are a big fan of events. If you guys are following us, we used to be a virtual events company, but what we noticed with events is, you get people to come to an event and they're not very sticky, they're not very retentive. You're seeing that a lot with a lot of these metaverse projects where they'll throw a big event and they might get some people in it, but then people never come back to the project. So this kind of hybrid of game mechanic and event, we're actually seeing a ton of results from, and that's what we really like. We see Pixels as kind of like a hybrid of a game and a community platform where we can kind of use game mechanics that are sticky and retentive to get you guys coming back every single day, and then keep engagement up with like really fun and exciting stuff like that. So yeah, expect more of that. And we want to kind of help enable, other projects, other companies, other people in Web3 to host experiences like that too. The combination of like game, event, and something creative is kind of our sticking spot, or like our sweet spot. So that's also kind of plans of product and stuff as well too. So yeah, today I just want to give you guys some updates on where we're at, what we're doing, what we're planning. Everything is basically moving according to plan. Some of these AMAs have gotten a bit repetitive for that reason, but we're just chugging along, doing exactly what we said we were going to do. Honestly, outputting some of the stuff quicker, some of the stuff is taking a bit longer. But yeah, we just want to give you guys transparent updates into basically all of our stats, what our plans are, and just get you guys excited about the next stuff too. Since yeah, there's a ton of exciting developments inside of Pixels and with what we've been doing. For example, just this month alone, we've already hit over 100,000 active wallets this month, which is pretty insane. We have slowly and quietly become one of the biggest Web3 projects in the space. And it's funny because the people in this community know. I don't think a lot of the rest of Web3 knows still, because we've kind of developed our own community in our own niche, which is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. The whole thing that we set out to do with Pixels was to create a game that people wanted to play, to create a community that people wanted to be a part of. And we didn't really want the people in Web3 or the typical Web3 speculators to come in and be a part of that if they didn't actually care about what we were building. And I think people are going to start to notice how engaged and how like high quality the Pixels audience is soon. I foresee a lot of people who are going to start to notice, hey, Pixels has actually created a group of people who actually like Web3 gaming, who like this space, and they're just relatively higher quality users than some of the other Web3 areas we might be seeing. I can see them starting to do things like we were doing with other communities, where it's like we were offering perks to Axie holders for a little bit, or other holders like that. We'll see if the tables turn a bit, but just props to you guys. We have one of the most active, engaged, and largest Web3 communities in the space right now. So I just couldn't be more thankful for all of you guys, and it's going to set us up for a much more healthy Web3 ecosystem as we move on to the next stages, as we open up berry withdrawal, as we move that onto dexes, and as we get to the next stages of Pixel as well too. So again, we have basically 3 big things that we're moving towards right now, and 3 big initiatives. One, we want to open up the withdraw and deposit of berry. To do that, first, we wanted to make sure that we had an active and engaged player base. The second thing that we wanted to really focus on too was bot prevention and detection. So when we're thinking about tokenomics, right? There's so much you have to do with token design to make sure that things are balanced, that burn, that generation is, relatively even in terms of a player experience. But it's funny because none of that matters if you have bots in the game that are exploiting parts of the game loop, essentially. So, token design is really important, but there's also the practical side of token management too. And for us, that really comes down to making sure that real players are earning the token at fair rates and that they're not getting taken advantage of by bots. So the team has been putting a ton of effort and time and energy into making sure that we have a grasp on that before we open up Berry withdrawal and deposit so that you guys have a more healthy ecosystem when we open up Berry withdrawal and deposit. It's funny because I think some people have this wrong conception that we're just holding back Berry because we're selfish or something like that. And it's not that. We literally want you guys to just have a better game experience. So we're trying to make sure that it's ready when we do all of these moves. And that's kind of how we're approaching Berry. That's how we're approaching Pixel as well too. Again, especially for Pixel, like Pixel is a large part of our monetization strategy. We want this token to do well in terms of, having a healthy release, healthy schedule. We want to make sure this token gets into the hands of people who actually want to be using our token, all for, the aligned incentive that we have. And it's not because we're just holding things off for no reason. It's because we want to make sure that we're ready when we release it. And we think being ready will make sure that everything goes even more smoothly, essentially. So that's kind of where we're at with all of that. So in terms of Berry release, expect that, I'm going to say within 30 days at the latest. I don't want to give you guys an exact date, but we're really, really close. There's a few things we want to do in terms of bot removal, prevention, and detection to make sure that we're really on top of that. Make sure that we basically flush out all the Berry that these bad actors have been producing so that you guys have a healthier ecosystem when we open up withdrawal and deposit. And then two, there's a few things on the tech side that we want to get rid of. And then also there's we have the ability and the resources to do this quite well. We want to make sure that we have everything prepped on those sides of things as well too. So that's really close. We're really excited to open it up to see how things are actually going to kind of end up, because that also gives us more live data on how we can plan around Pixel. So Pixel, if you guys have noticed, the white paper is going to be very different than the one that we released like 6 to 7 months ago. The reason is because, again, I've said this all the time, but we got to analyze so much real in-game data when we were looking at Berry. We got to solve a lot of problems that we were probably going to hit if we released Pixel too early with Berry as well too. And with Berry, or with Pixel, we have a different tokenomics scheme than Berry as well too. So Pixel, we really, really wanted to get right. And, we've taken our time. We've gotten to see all of our mistakes and fix them essentially. And we're really excited about Pixel. And if you guys are a bit confused on the difference between Berry and Pixel, again, the high level of each of these tokens will remain the same. Berry was always meant to be an uncapped token, and it was meant to be inflationary. Pixel, we have a different set of tokenomics that we plan around. The idea of the Pixel token is we want the increase of supply of that token to be very controlled. Essentially, Berry you can earn through in-game mechanics, and essentially one player, like anytime you get a new player into the Pixel's ecosystem, the amount of Berry generated goes up a bit. We try to burn as much of that Berry generated per player as that new player increases that generation. But with Pixel, it's different. Pixel does not scale with users in the same way that Berry does. How Pixel will be generated is going to be a bit more like our play to airdrop, if you guys were familiar with that. Essentially, with our play to airdrop, we had a set amount of tokens that we were giving out, and you had this time period to play, and we distributed those tokens among the people who were participating in that play to airdrop. And how we kind of see the Pixel generation is it's going to be very similar in that manner, almost kind of on like a weekly cadence. So expect like quest, expect different tasks that you can do in game that you will be able to earn Pixel with. But that set amount going into the ecosystem will be distributed between all the players who do these tasks that we gamify essentially. So kind of expect it like that. So yeah, we have Pixel and Berry coming. We're super excited about that, and we couldn't think we're in a better spot. Most people or most projects, they launch their token when they have like 2,000 active users. We have something very similar. Somebody just asked, so Pixel is not going to be capped. Sounds like Pixel is becoming very similar to Berry. No, Pixel is going to be capped. Again, high-level white paper, please read that. It's all staying the same. Pixel is a cap supply token. It increases on a regular cadence, but it's cap supply in the end. Essentially, if you look at Axie, I think what they did was really smart. AXS, it's a cap supply token. It vests over like a 5-year span, essentially. The increase in supply is very predictable. It does not scale with users, but there's rewards that are distributed essentially too. So it's a cap supply token, Pixel, berries uncapped. Very big differences with that. And again, we have a lot of resources helping us out with this. We feel pretty excited about that. So yeah, again, berries released. It's not on withdraw or it's not on exchanges yet. You actually can't withdraw and deposit it from your custodial wallets yet. The plan is to allow you to withdraw and deposit from these custodial wallets soon. Pixel, it's going to be coming out shortly after that. So expect it. It's not like Pixel. I wouldn't expect it in March at this point. Expect it more towards April. Expect it maybe even it could go into May. But again, all these things that we're doing are with you guys in mind. We want the healthiest token ecosystem available as possible, and all of your play to airdrop rewards that you guys are promised are factored into this. Like this hard work, dedication, and practice that you guys put into the play to airdrop back in October. We're holding good in our promises. You guys are getting these tokens. Again, the plan from day one was a slow rollout of Berry and then the facilitation of Pixel. And again, we really do think that everybody's going to be better off with us taking our time and making sure that we're doing things really properly. And if you guys don't really align with that, for the people who just want to come into our ecosystem for a week and then dump the token, yeah, we have put protections around that. I'm really sorry. But we also want to protect the people who really care about what we're playing. And that's kind of the whole point of what we're doing here at Pixels, and maybe why Web3 in general is still not noticing how many users we have, all of that too. But we have a community of people who actually really like what we're doing. We want to make sure that this token goes into their hands. We want to make sure that the people who are the most active here are going to be rewarded the most. We think that leads to a better ecosystem and a better product for everybody. So yeah, good things come to those who wait. And again, we are going to have like one of the most active user bases in Web3 before token launch. So we're really excited about that. And in regards to everything else that we're working on, let's talk about like a few different product things that we're thinking about. Again, we've been talking about UGC, user generated content, a lot lately. That's a direction that we're really excited about. We're going to move towards. So we want to start to introduce new tools that kind of allow you guys to have a bit more creativity in our ecosystem. If you guys have been paying attention, we've been working on another project, New Cyber. It's essentially like a whole different game that's built in our engine. And that is super close to launching. We're really excited for them. NFT Llama, Llamaverse, all of them going to be very active in that project. It's their project at the end of the day. So we're really excited to have them built on our tech and to kind of show you guys, what's going on with, all this tech that we've been building out and what the possibilities are for the end user as well too. So, we've been working with a project, right? NFT Llama, all of these guys, they have a lot of resources behind them. But what we want to do is we actually want to be opening up our game technology to people just like you guys. And we think that's some of the really interesting stuff that we've built out that could really change the trajectory of Pixels. So expect a few different tools to be rolling out over the course of the next like 2 to 3 months, essentially, that kind of allow you guys to be creative in a way that you weren't able to be before. We've essentially started work in development on these tools right now. They're literally in our sprint right now. So I'm so excited to start to get these out. But we're creating something like a user decoration or a user generated decoration builder. So essentially you're going to be able to upload your own pixel art and put them into our game. And we're really excited to see what that can do. And then, as we move on and make these tools more and more advanced, it's like, okay, maybe you can actually make a, new type of item builder, new type of, industry, things like that too. So we're gonna be slowly opening up more and more of our tooling over the course of the next like 2 to 4 months and see what you guys do with it. And that's also going to be a primary sync of the Pixel token. So how we view the Pixel token is there's two things. It's these UGC stuff that we're working on, and then it's also the pets mechanic that we're working on too. So we're working on pets right now. I really want to leak what they look like. They're just concept arts. It's just concept. Yeah. Wait, can we? Do you have that picture, Heidi?
No.
Can I send it to you really quick? I think we should.
They're still being reviewed.
They're still being reviewed. They're not done.
These aren't official, so I don't know.
I like leaking. I don't know if you knew this about
I
me.
know you do.
I think we should. I'm gonna send this to you. I think you should flash a screenshot, and then we also that way we know if people hate them, then we know. Then we know.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, how we kind of view pets is essentially they're gonna be more like Neopet style early on. We're gonna give you like several different body types to choose from, and then the plan is we can kind of expand that later. And if we add mechanics like breeding, if we add mechanics like that, then we can add more body types and more pet types as well too. So there'll be like a layer of generative art where there's gonna be different traits on top of these body types. And then also there's gonna be like stats associated with them, all of that too. And then the idea is we're gonna do like immediately on release a pet care and a pet happiness loop, and then add more functionality with the pets as well too. Do you have that screenshot? How do you? I don't know why I can't find you.
I'm gonna share a couple of them. I'll figure it out. Just keep going. I'll
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So the idea is what we want to do is we want to have like this base thing of this pet that you have to take care of, and this pet that you have to like basically grow and hatch. And then we want to add like more skill-based functionality in pixels. And what we've decided is we think this skill-based functionality should come through pets rather than coming through the farmland. And we think that we kind of view the farmland as a way to, one, like hatch and breed pets and have it be a really, really important process of like that area of pets. But then we think pets are actually the better skill-based part of pets. So or the skill-based part of pixels. So essentially we view land as like a really key bottleneck to generation, to hatching, and to the production of new pets, and also as the resources that feed these pets and the resources that players will need to actually progress them, to excel in them, and to participate in the skill-based loops that we're going to be introducing in the pixels. And then we view pets as like the more accessible skill-based mechanic in pixels in the long run too. So yeah, we're really excited about what we're going to be doing with those. They look really cute so far, just our concept art that we've been kind of producing. And the idea is we want to release pets at the launch of the Pixel token. So we want two things at the launch of the Pixel token. We want to start to experiment essentially in two different directions. We want to experiment with UGC. We want to experiment with pets. This team is really agile and we like to get real data. So the two areas of real data we're going to be tracking is, okay, what's burning more of the token? What's the more convincing use case? Is it pets or is it UGC? And that will also influence our direction too. Essentially, we have two ways that we can go. We'll probably support both the ways too. Our dev team is able to handle both of these at the same time, not really a distraction. And we just think it's the gameplay direction that we want to be moving in anyways. So really excited about that. And Heidi, if you have that leak, you should show it.
I'm struggling with our setup to share it properly.
Give me yeah, you might just be able to open it up in a new tab and then share it. Worst case scenario.
That's what I'm trying to do, but I think it's going to share my entire screen, which isn't a big deal. I don't really have things to hide. Okay, let me try that.
Just all the confidential pixels data.
Okay, I can. We're good. All right, you see it?
It's a minor leak. I like it.
Minor leak. All right.
But yeah, the idea is to have maybe like 10 or so of those initially. Also have generative traits on top of these guys, and then go from there. But yeah, we want them to look cute. We want them to have a lot of in-game utility. And yeah, the idea is to kind of have land be a really large sink into all of these. So yeah, we're super excited about what's going on with them.
I want to say that was a minor leak. I think we have, how many do we have mocked up here? 13? 13. So yeah. That's not confirmed. There's going to be 13, but that's just where our artist is at. And keep in mind, those are subject to change, but little alpha for you guys.
Totally. So yeah, again, we have basically those three big things we're working on. And then we're also still obviously maintaining the core loop that we have now, introducing more and more content as well too. So just high level overview again of what we just discussed. We have been working on bot detection and prevention so we can open up berry withdrawal and deposit. We have been Working on releasing new cyber and getting our second game actually released that's built on top of the Pixels platform. 3, we've been working on creating out UGC tooling, user-generated content tooling, that's available for you guys to introduce new content in-game without us doing anything. 4, we've been working on pets. And then 5, we've been working on balancing out the game mechanics even more inside of our core farming loop and working on that too. And then also, we have a few other things that are coming out really soon too, including VIP, which we'll talk on a bit more. Only hint I'll give on that is maybe finish Quest if you haven't. And then, that's what's going on at Pixels. Tons.
I'm going to share it again. I'm sorry, I just totally cut you off. That was really rude. Apparently, it was like really tiny and really poor quality. The screenshot isn't incredible quality because, like I said, I'm taking a screenshot of a screenshot at this point. But let me do it one more time, okay? Last time. Do we see it? Is that better? Hopefully. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, we're good. There you go, guys. Okay, sweet. Keep going.
And then, the idea is the generative artwork in OpenSea will probably be the same look as in-game. They'll be animated, they'll be pretty nice. I'm excited. And the idea is we want to make them cute.
Oh my gosh, general chat is flooded with screenshots of the... Okay, cool.
And then, I guess the last thing I want to touch on too is we have a ton of like pretty interesting partnerships in the pipeline as well too. So a lot of our focus will be on interoperability in the next month or so as well. The team is starting to work on, integrations like, I don't want to spoil them, but, we're going to be working with some existing Web3 social platforms, some other Web3 products to do interoperability in a way that the space hasn't really seen before. So we're pretty excited about some of the stuff that we're about to do as well. Our growth strategy will be a combination of this kind of stuff, grabbing attention for really interesting collabs that have more utility than some of the collabs that you have maybe seen in the space with interoperability before. The avatar integrations that we've done, we think are cool, but we actually think interoperability can lead to even better experiences than just avatar integrations. Some stuff that's even more nuanced and interesting. So we're really excited about that kind of stuff that we're doing there. And all I can say is just sit back and watch that kind of stuff happen. We think that some of these things will lead to pretty interesting gameplay that you might not have seen before. And then 2, even better experiences inside of our own game due to interoperability, and also maybe exposing you to different Web3 products that you might not have seen before as well. And also plugging into greater ecosystems than ours even. So tons of stuff with that. Just stay tuned. I think you guys will be pretty excited.
Okay, ready to move on to some questions?
Let's get some questions, yeah.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, just throw them in the live chat on YouTube. And I'm just going to pull this one up. These AMAs always make me so bullish. We really love to hear that. We've been doing these AMAs, live sessions, Twitter spaces every single week for over a year now. I mean, we've missed a couple, I'll give you that, but it's been a lot, and we love it. We really love doing this with you guys. We feel like so much more connected to our community when we're able to have these live sessions and chat with you all. So thank you so much for saying this and coming out every week. We really appreciate it. Okay. So we got a few questions during the event. So when we were talking about that at the beginning, are there any plans for adding some interactivity at these events? So yeah, I mean, this first one, we implemented brand new tech for this event of you. It's kind of similar to the sauna, but there's a little bit more. You're getting berry and you're getting energy every, I think it was around 30 seconds. So this was new for us, and it was a bit of a test run, and it went so well, flawlessly. There's even things behind the scenes that you don't see, of like the timers, making sure it all turns on and off exactly when it should. And there was a lot that went into it. So it went really well, and we're really happy about it. And, the sky's the limit. We're going to keep going. If you have any cool ideas, we would love to hear them. Different ideas you have for events. We have a bunch of forms. You can fill them out. You can find all the links to the forms in the I Need Help channel on Discord. But yeah, we want to keep doing this. So let us know your ideas. Speaking of tech, someone asked, would it be able to make the weekly AMA live stream at the Goose? We've talked about this a lot. There's a few different things that it would take to get us there. And when I say that is we currently use a program called StreamYard, and that allows us to, pull up these YouTube comments and bring them up like as you see below right now. And it looks great and it works really well. So I think it would take quite a bit of work to get us to have such a high quality show via the game. And also we like streaming on social media platforms because it can get more eyes on our project, more people here, the better, right? For you and for us. So eventually in the future, I see us live streaming, or at least maybe we have some events in game that incorporate video and audio features. But I don't see it happening in the immediate future.
Yeah. One thing I want to add relatively soon is we used to have in our old product, like it would pop up an iframe that just like had Twitch overlaid and things like that. We're going to start experimenting with adding in more event-like features again. Like we keep talking about spatial video chat and audio chat. It's funny. I'm the one that implemented that originally. And if it gets back in game, it's me that has to code it basically. And I get pulled in so many different directions. So it's just like I am slowly chipping away at spatial audio chat and video chat whenever I have free time to code and I feel like it. But it's one of those things where it's like it's a nice to have, but probably not going to move the needle in the same way that things like pets and getting Barry and Pixel ready would. So I haven't been prioritizing as much. I'm so sorry. But I think you guys also probably appreciate Barry and Pixel getting ready instead.
Okay, what is happening in 2 days?
I can't say anything, but we warned you. Complete all the quests.
All the quests. So yeah, what he's talking about is we tweeted out a few days ago now, and then we've mentioned it in a couple announcements. Make sure you have all of the quests completed. There's a list of them pinned in the general chat. So it's all of the ones that are still available to you right now, including the recent Valentine's Day one. But like the Thanksgiving, the Christmas ones, those are not included because obviously those are closed. But yeah, make sure you're getting them done, because if you start today, I don't know if you're going to get there. That'll be a lot of grinding. So
yeah, I do just want to clarify, it's not the Pixel airdrop, guys, again. So we are about to release the withdraw and deposit of Barry into the game pretty soon. And then Pixel still has expect an IEO and things like that at Pixel in mid-April, probably. It could go into May. Again, we want to make sure it's really, really ready. And if it's ready, it's going to be better for everybody. So that's just our thoughts with that. We want this to be, a seamless, smooth token launch. And there are a lot of things that you have to get right for that. And, with the player base that we have a lot of resources that we can tap into. So that's going to be a bit more time. But again, anybody that participated and played the airdrop, it's still coming. We've given you Barry over the last 3 to 4 months. Barry's about to go on the decks. You guys played. It's funny, the most vocal people, I look in the Discord and they normally join October 25th, which means they played for 5 to 6 days. And I do respect your time, but there's people that have been playing for a lot longer. And then still been playing since the release of the game on November 17th, and been super active too. And those are the people that we're prioritizing as well. If I'm just being completely blunt, we care about our active players. We care about people who care about the ecosystem more and more.
Someone already tweeted out the pets week. I love it. Okay. Someone asked if you can still complete the Valentine's Day quest. Yes, you can, but it will close eventually. So make sure you've done it, especially by Friday. Okay. Other questions we had here. Will there be any in Pixel's games you can just chill while your energy is low? And some people were talking about this earlier too, like playing some arcade games that maybe they give you energy. There's lots of ideas been throwing around.
Yeah, so I will say New Cyber doesn't use energy. They have different game mechanics that they're kind of working on. It's interesting. New Cyber, it's like a web basically where you have to do this and then chain it to that and chain it to that. So that might be an option. But then two, that's also why we're focused on pets. So we see pets as a skill-based mechanic in the long run, or a mechanic that doesn't require energy, but requires energy to get better at, essentially. So all the work that you put into the farm loop will go into pets, and you'll have a better pet to participate in any of the mechanics that you do. And those won't be energy consuming, but the energy that you earn will have obviously made your pet better.
Okay. I don't own a land. Will there be any benefits for non-land owners like me? I really love what Pixels is building, and I'm dying to know what comes up next. It's interesting because, earlier I actually lost track of it. Someone was asking, I'm a farmland owner. When am I going to get my benefits? So we're kind of working on this like really fine line of balance of, satisfy our landowners, give them, what we believe they deserve, but also we can't only have landowners in our game. We need players like you that are having fun and playing the game and working alongside the landowners. So we're working this like really fine line. And I feel like every other AMA, it leans one way of like, when this versus when that. Luke,
Yeah.
do you want to do this?
Yeah, so if we had built a game just with landowners in mind, we would have 2,000 players, and that's it. And I don't think that would be a very successful ecosystem. And it wouldn't even be 2,000 players because not all 2,000 of our landowners actually even play the game. So yeah, what we're trying to do is create like a healthy ecosystem, and we think that's going to lead to the most like value creation. But when I say value creation, like what I see crypto as in like the Web3 space is an interesting way to distribute value. That value needs to be coming from somewhere besides speculation. Like people need to be playing our game because they like the game, because they want to progress through it, or because they're having fun in it. And that's the key to all of this. If people don't like the game, and that's not to say our game can't get better and better. And it really, I think it needs to keep improving. But if people don't like the game, then there's no value in it at all. The more people that we have that are playing our game and enjoying the game, the more value that we've been creating in this ecosystem altogether. So we see our job as creating as much value as possible through creating as fun of a game as we can, and through getting as many players into the game as we can as well too. So we do think about things like, okay, how do we make landowning worth it? How do we make it tightly integrated into the game? Part of what we're thinking about is pets and making it a key part of the pets hatching and breeding system. And then we're also thinking about other ways that can, provide benefits through land ownership, through through things like our UGC. So potentially giving off like discounts, benefits, and things like that towards creating new content, higher rev share, things like that too. So when we're thinking about things like that, we're thinking about, okay, what are ways that we can also kind of ride that balance of rewarding the people who believed in our ecosystem really early, and then two, because you guys did play a key part of building our ecosystem. I don't want to deny that. I don't want to like minimize that. But then two, it's also like, how do we make a game that's actually fun for everybody too? So it's tricky balance, and this is something that like everybody in the space is trying to figure out. And I hope if we've built out trust in one area, it's that we are willing to look at what's happening, analyze, adapt, and iterate. That's what we're going to keep doing. Like this, we're doing these AMAs with you guys. We're talking to you guys because like these are things that we actually really care about, and we want to be really transparent with you all on. And it's going to require a lot of experimentation, essentially. And I think this team moves fast enough. We can experiment enough to like get the balance. But some things we do landowners might be like, why'd you do that? And some things we do, free players might be like, why'd you do that? And we're going to run into those situations in both directions a lot. Hopefully we're going to come to that medium where we figure out that balance. But we're trying our best.
Okay. I like this question a lot. What would a healthy ecosystem with Pixel and Berry look like to you game-wise?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for Berry, it's like, are you burning as much of the token as you're generating, essentially? And does like that actually means like, have you created enough like convincing game loops and game mechanics where people want to be using that Berry token to progress in game? One interesting way to burn the token is through cosmetic purchases, because those are basically just pure burn, out of the ecosystem forever. But also just wanting to progress through their game through things like getting industries built and all of that. That's a really important part of the berry burn and the berry progression. But the key part behind all of it is are people playing the game because they're actually having a good time? And it's interesting because my perception of this has changed a bit, where at first I was like, it needs to be pure like Web 2, like comparable, like essentially like the game without any of the Web3 mechanics needs to like look and behave exactly like a Web2 game. And then you add on the Web3 mechanics. But like as I'm going through this space more and more, I'm kind of realizing, oh, there are actually kind of interesting elements of the Web3 side of things that, a Web2 game doesn't quite have. There is something fun about, actually having the stakes associated with it being Web3 and all of that too, and kind of leaning into that. So, we shied away from that maybe too far in the one direction at first. And now we might lean more into that area a bit too. I think you don't have to go all the way in terms of like, avoiding anything to do with Web3, in my opinion. I think some elements of that actually make gameplay better and more fun and interesting. And that's kind of how we're approaching our high level game design lately as well too. And in terms of Pixel, it's going to be a lot of in-game analysis as well too. But again, it's like we really value people who are in our ecosystem and playing because they enjoy everything that we've been doing. And that could mean coming in because, you've heard about all the players and you just want to get a part of it. Like I actually do think there's an element of it being fun around that. I think the speculation actually could be a bit fun for some people. I'm not going to deny that in the same way that I did before. But having people who are actually enjoying being a part of this ecosystem and getting some kind of intrinsic value out of this, that's the real like key to health, in my opinion. And how we're kind of measuring it essentially. And that Valentine's Day event yesterday just gave me some anecdotal evidence. I was like, dang, I personally had a blast. And I think a lot of people there, you guys earn Barry, you guys earn energy, right? But I think a lot of you actually had fun. And we're going to keep looking for, more engagement like that and for more ways just to give you guys like a good, fun experience like that, essentially.
I loved watching the players like slowly make their way because they were at 1% energy. That was fun. Okay.
Oh, I love watching people walk to the sauna so slow. I always make fun of them too. I'm like, ha, you're slow.
So are there plans for player trading either in game or app?
So there is player-to-player trading right now in game. I don't know if you've been playing, but that is definitely a thing. But the cool part about Web3 and when we open up withdraw and deposit of these assets is you're going to be able to trade them out of game also. And what we're working on right now in this current sprint that we're about to start today or tomorrow, we're about to work on an in-game marketplace. So right now you guys are all kind of selling things peer-to-peer on Discord. We're going to be facilitating a game-wide marketplace in our game, in our UX that just makes that experience a bit better. That's also going to tie into the UGC. So it's a bit of both. It's like a win-win essentially. You're going to be able to list things that you have in your inventory in something like a game-wide marketplace. And also when we do UGC, user-generated content, when you create your own items in game, you're going to be able to put the items in game that you create like by uploading your own pixel art in this marketplace as well too. It's kind of cool. It's actually going to be a way to create NFTs without any code, upload all the pixel art, and have them be able to use in a game instantly. So that's kind of unique. We're pretty excited about that. And we think it's very accessible compared to some other things like that too. I love Sandbox, and I think Sandbox is amazing. But creating voxel art can be quite hard. Pixel art is another way to do it, where it's like anyone can really create pixel art. And it doesn't have as much of a barrier to it. So we're kind of like going for a Sandbox light approach there too, and taking a lot of inspiration from them.
Okay. Will Barry and Pixel both be on Polygon?
Yep, ERC20s. We think that's the best place to put them. Essentially, since we like to do a lot of stuff that is friendly to users. So it's cool because we have a Web3 audience, right? But also our Web3 audience is a very casual Web3 audience compared to other Web3 communities, essentially. So what we like to do is we like to really protect a lot of our users for that reason. And we want to make sure that the UX is quite simple and gasless as well. So like right now, if you guys haven't noticed, all of your stuff is on chain right now. Your Barry, your NFTs, your items, they're on chain. And we're paying for all of that. It costs us money, but it costs us so much less money on Polygon instead of being on Ethereum. So in order to make this experience gasless and the UX to be really good, then that's why we have it on Polygon. Essentially, we think the UX is the best for most users, especially when it comes to onboarding. That's something that we're really concerned about too when we're thinking about, okay, if somebody has not had any crypto experience before and they want to play our game, how do they do it? If you guys haven't used some other ecosystems, like I don't want to be mean to other chains, but like I tried to play a game on Wax the other day. It took me like 2 hours to set it up to figure out how to get all the gas you need to like bridge something from like Wire or Coinbase into that ecosystem. Like we really want to avoid stuff like that. And then we want to make sure that like it feels affordable as well too. So it's funny because we're so deep into Web3 sometimes we forget how ridiculous gas actually is. I know it's down a lot lately, but like I remember in the bull run, I minted an NFT and it cost me $70 to mint an NFT. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that. Um, and that is even the reaction of most people when the gas is like $4 to $5 even.
Oh my gosh. Yesterday I tried to buy a $7 NFT and gas was like $250 or something. It's like, I guess not, you know? Okay. Let's see what other questions we have here. Will the pixel token be vested like Berry?
Yes. Again, we're trying to protect real users, and what we don't want is we don't want a token dump either. We think this protects everybody in the ecosystem better. Again, the more people who are actively engaged in the platform that have this token, that also to us defines health in the ecosystem too. So we think health in an ecosystem is kind of defined by what are people doing with the token and why do they hold the token. And the best kind of user that you can have in Web3 is a user who actually wants to use the token for the token. And we think that leads to the best outcome for everybody. So we're going to make sure that the people who have these tokens are also having them like this as well too. But then also do note that everybody, literally everybody, team, investors, private sale, public sale, anything like that will be vested. Everybody will be vested. So that also protects like econ early on too, in terms of not getting too much of the token released at the very beginning, in terms of inflation, in terms of how this is going. And this also allows us adequate time to build in the necessary burn mechanics that we need as well too. So when we release the token, we want to make sure it's getting burned for in-game use. And the more and more time we have to build, the more interesting things we can give you guys to use this token on. So we're going to have several things released on release that will be able to burn the token and be able to be used for the token, but we'll be able to have more and more out. So essentially the idea is the more of this token that's coming into the ecosystem over the course of the vesting period, the more things we'll have for you guys to do with the token as well.
I said, I guess not, when I was talking about the gas fees earlier, and Lolito said, I guess not, which I actually just laughed at. So thank you for that. And if you don't know, Lolito is one of our farm hands, and he makes all of those little like scarrot gifts and stuff. So he's wonderful, which actually leads me to another question that we had. So can we get some updated infographics? Those are all community generated, and specifically by Midnight. He is such a beast, and he creates all of those. So if he's watching, someone wants some updated infographics, but you could also just ping him on in like a general chat. I'm sure he'll respond to you there.
So one thing I'm so excited to get Pixel out is we want to give out incentives to create things like this with the Pixel token too. So when we release our tokenomics, you're going to see we have a pool that's related for ecosystem rewards. It's not in-game rewards, it's ecosystem. So that's going to cover things like this as well too.
Okay, someone asked if we're connected with Coinbase.
I mean, you guys saw the collab that we had done with them earlier for Coinbase Gaming. I love the Coinbase team. I think they're building out really interesting tech. We talk about their tech a lot of the times. And I think, people don't know they're working on a bunch of infrastructure and stuff too. Coinbase has a lot of interesting plays they're going to be doing over the next like 6 months, 7 months that I think are going to surprise Web3. So yeah, they're not just an exchange. They do a lot of other interesting things too. Really big fan of their team, very professional, really quick, and excited about what they're doing with some of their stuff.
Will it be possible to name my pet? I actually have no idea if this has been a conversation internally, but I will bring it up.
We literally have not talked about that, but I like that.
I don't think we have, but I like the idea. So we'll see. You name it Sophie, very cute. I feel like Sophia might fight you for that one, but okay. What will be ways to earn Pixel in game?
Yeah, so we like things that don't give the token to bots. So we're gonna be looking at more interesting things that mix it up a lot too. So if you guys saw our play the airdrop dashboard, we like a system like that, essentially, where we can give you badges and points and things like that that will earn you from a pool of pixel, essentially. And we're going to mix it up a lot too. The idea is probably like weekly challenges, maybe even daily challenges as well too, that kind of count towards that weekly total. But the idea is to kind of gamify it and then mix it up, keep people guessing. But yeah, we'll be creative about it essentially, and then we'll probably have some basic things like do this task, or farm this crop X times, things like that.
Okay, I think that wraps up most of the questions we had. Is there any other things you want to talk about today, Lou?
No, that was a lot. I'm excited after that.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody just asked pixel equals governance token. No, I hate governance tokens. I absolutely hate them. One, like, I love community input. I love getting your ideas, your perspectives, and I want to listen. But governance tokens, like, they don't even necessarily translate to that. Two, they're a huge risk when it comes to, being labeled as security, things like that too. That's just not something that we want to touch or even get involved with. And then three, we like the idea of having this token be used in-game for in-game purposes. We think it's really, really clear what our token is. It's not a security, it's an in-game token that can be used to progress you in-game, purchase things in-game as well too. So yeah, just like clears any of the air around that. It keeps us and like all of our users to be, a bit more protected from that. And then, yeah, it's also because I hate democracy mostly, I think. No.
There's someone commented that. Okay, cool. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I've been super energized and excited about all the stuff going on here over the last little bit. The last month or two is like a lot of, infrastructure, getting things together. Now it's about to start to move again. So yeah, we like to release some waves, and we're like just about to start the upslip again. So I'm super excited. And yeah, I'm just so thankful to have all of you guys here with us. Quietly becoming one of the biggest, most active Web3 communities. And yeah, I think people will start to see that when Barry's on Dexes and then when we have Pixel out. But for now, it's going to be a fun little intimate time with all you guys before we get exposed to that larger audience. So let's enjoy the next couple months.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna plug it, but our community has actually been nominated for an award for the best new community, which is just so incredible, honestly. So I did post the link earlier in the chat, but we did something really fun. You can actually go in game and walk a little bit south towards the MOI in Terravilla, and there's a sign. You can click on that sign and it'll take you to the website to vote for us. So go do that. And with that, we'll end it here. If we missed any of your questions, please tag one of us or the community team in one of the general chats on our Discord, and we will answer as best we can. And with that, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.